tremendous amount of students on campus who are extremely talented, who are extremely knowledgeable, driven, unspoiled, and in 2 or 3 years, they'll be making six figures. It's not because of what we're going to teach them in those 2 or 3 years. It's because of who they are, right? So why not tap them? So meet the team. This is Kyle and Lucy. You can tell who's who. Lucy was a second-year MIS student when I brought her on board with a CS certificate, and Kyle is a second-year CS student. They had very basic understanding of coding, mostly Java, sort of working on projects. They had some sort of ability to code, but nothing great. But they were eager beavers. Students are eager beavers. They're awesome, and so why not? And the other kind of is that I sort of had very basic understanding of what Salesforce can do. I mean, I knew it was cool, right? Obviously, I started this whole thing, but not the nuts and bolts of it, right? So that's what we started with. Just a little sidebar. A couple of years ago, I saw this cartoon in New York, and it kind of resonated with me and stayed with me. As a parent, I can certainly appreciate that whole thing, right? So when I hired my student workers, I kind of thought, oh, you know what, this is appropriate. We can sort of teach them a lot of things. But what I really realized is that in order for us to develop on Salesforce platform using students, we actually have to figure out not learn all the tricks. We have to figure out what tricks they have to learn to begin with, because they're a sore virgin. Okay, so the way we sort of went about this is we had to identify a project, a particular project that we would really use as a test case, as a pilot to develop our competency on Salesforce. And it had to be sort of this really low impact. We would have sort of really long development time, no pressure, and minimum integration with any kind of other system. Right, so we had to identify that. We had to then teach them, the students, Salesforce, right? And so I put together sort of a list of reading materials that consist sort of workbooks and things that are located on developer.salesforce.com and YouTube and things like that, right? So sort of a brief, this is how you learn Salesforce from a guy that doesn't really know anything about Salesforce. And then we have to sort of teach them absolutely everything else, right? What is Agile? What is requirement analysis? How do you talk to customers? How do you dress in front of customers? Right? So everything that you could possibly think of, we had to sort of teach to our students. And we have identified, happily, a project, a